What's up, Speedy's Garage gang? Welcome back to the Speedy's Garage YouTube channel. I'm going to jump right into it. Today, we're going to put a little protection on the Demon. And something I did do on Go Man Go that I'm definitely doing again on the Demon is the clear protection film. Back when I had the 09 RT, I had to spend probably a half hour once a year, maybe longer than that, with a little touch-up brush and touch-up paint, touching up all the little nicks in that great big wide front bumper. Using that clear protective film made a huge difference on the Hellcat, so I'm definitely going to do that on this Demon, and I'm especially on the flares. I don't know if you can see this, but the factory actually does include a piece of protective film, but they missed the whole front edge right here, and that's going to take a beating. So we're going to do that. Definitely some behind the rear tires at the drag strip, a little bit behind the front wheels. I learned that from the Hellcat. The mirrors, A-pillars, a little bit of the roof, and of course the front, because that's going to take the brunt of everything. The installer did check with his support folks, and there was some question on whether you could put a satin or matte film on the actual painted part of the hood, and everything he found said it's no problem. Some people said, you know, you got to worry about it when you come to take it off. He said the modern paint protection film is really easy to remove once you put a little steam on it. That's how they do it. He said it just comes off in a sheet, no problem, doesn't even stick. So we're gonna get that done. Car is all wrapped up and protected. I'll tell you a funny story. The guy that came and did his name Eric, and his company's called True Shine. And what's odd about that is I was actually getting ready. I haven't seen him in about 7 years. He's actually the guy who did the PPF and ceramic coating on Go Man Go. And I was in a parking lot and actually getting ready to start looking for someone to do the same on the Demon. And I saw him, I was like, man, you look familiar. And he's like, he shook my hand, he's like, yeah, I remember you, you're one of my customers. My name's Eric, and I did the PPF on your Hellcat. I was like, holy cow, man, I've got a Demon, and I need to do the same thing on. He's actually mobile, will come to you. So if you're in the Middle Tennessee area and you want to get in touch with him, let me know, and I'll get you guys hooked up. But he does a fantastic job. He's passionate about what he does, and he's a really cool guy, has some interesting stories to tell. So part of the reason I love the car culture is all the interesting people you meet. So I'm going to show you everything we did, and I will challenge you to find the edges of the protection film. So here's the front. The whole front end is done. He put a little bit around the flat part of the hood. That is just a hair different. Now I haven't put any ceramic or anything on this yet. I'm gonna do that myself. And I expect once it's ceramic coated, this will darken up a little bit and condition it, and it'll probably be a lot closer, but honestly, it's not that far off. And I would certainly rather see a little bit of difference in the sheen, that's all you get, of the film, and not have rock chips. On the Hellcat, you know, it had the scooper here in the middle. I had the same coating or protective film put on, and it did protect this edge, and I would have little sections where I would see where rocks had hit it. So anyway, it comes down, it's all down through here, and if I come back on the back side, that might be the best place where you can start to maybe see the edge of the film, but because it comes back about a foot, but it's right there. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. It comes down, all that's protected, obviously. Added some, and I learned this from the Hellcat, there's an 8-inch strip all the way back to here to protect behind the front tire. I did do the A-pillars and about 6 inches across the top of the roof. And finally, the entire wheel arch or fender flare, whatever you want to call it, all the way to the body. You can't see a line at all. It comes all the way down. And then this section back here of the rear fender. And that's done the same on both sides. Well, just finished up having the PPF or paint protection film installed. Plan on putting a few more miles on it this weekend, but the weather is not good. So I'm gonna take that opportunity to ceramic coat the 170. I've done about every type of ceramic coating that I know exists. I had it professionally done. Eric, who was here, that did the PPF on the 170, he actually did PPF and a professional ceramic coating on the Hellcat. Had great results with it. I think after like 5 years, I did have to touch it up and sort of redo parts of it. So I got 5 years out of mine, and my car was garage kept. Most ceramic coatings are, if you have them professionally done, they can be a little expensive, but most of that is the labor of them paint correcting the vehicle. If you got swirls or scratches, you want to get those out before you put a ceramic coating on. I actually prefer to do the paint correction myself, and I found a product that's super easy to use. I'll show it to you. It's called 3D1. It's a one-step polish. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. And then a couple of different pads on a random orbital, and you can knock it out yourself and save yourself some money from all the labor. This car, I asked the dealership not to hand wash. I did that myself. You saw when we detailed it and got it ready to go, foam cannoned it, was really careful, so it doesn't have any scratches or swirls in the paint, so I don't have to do a paint correction. Eric just did the clear protective film on it, so now's a really good time for me to get ceramic on there and knock that out since the weather's bad. Back to the ceramic coatings. I have used the professional version, which lasted about 5 years. I had to touch it up. I have done the do-it-yourself, which I've gotten about 3 years out of, and this is like in the little bottles, and you have to be really careful when you put it on and really pay attention. And I've discovered a new product that's a spray-on ceramic, which I've tried already on the 4Runner, and I was super happy with it. And they say it'll last a year to 18 months, and because it's so easy to apply, I'm gonna try it on this car. It doesn't last as long as your professional, like 3 to 5 to 7 years, depending on which grade you go with. It doesn't last as long as the do-it-yourself consumer version that you put on, have to be careful with. Those are probably 3 year. This will be a year to 18 months, but it's so easy to put on. I think it's worth it. I put it on the 4Runner. You don't have to be careful at all. It's super easy to work with. You can put it on the glass, you can put it on the trim, you can put it on all the plastics. So that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna show you what I got. I'm gonna start off with what I'm gonna call a waterless wash. I happen to have Griots, which works pretty well, but there's several brands on the market. But in a nutshell, this allows you to basically wash your car without a bucket and soap. You'll mist the panel, you'll mist your microfiber towel, and just gently wipe the car down. The reason I'm gonna do that is because the car's already been washed and it's clean, but I want it to be super clean before I put the ceramic on. Then I'm gonna wipe it down with some panel wipe, which is really just like 80% isopropyl alcohol, and that will prepare the surface and make sure there's any oils or anything that happen to be on the surface is removed to give the ceramic the best surface to stick to. It'll help it last longer. And then this is the ceramic I've been pretty happy with. I did it about, I don't know, 6 months ago on the 4Runner, and it's still holding up great. The 4Runner is also garage kept, so keep that in mind, but it is the graphene ceramic spray coating. For the cost and for the ease of application, I'm gonna give this a shot. If I don't like it or it doesn't last as long as I want it to, a year from now, I can always go back and either have it professionally ceramic coated or do a higher grade ceramic coating. But this stuff was so easy to use, I was thrilled with it. I'm gonna use an Adams, and that's an Adams product in case you didn't notice, an Adams applicator. Basically put the product on here and just wipe it on the panel. It'll sort of flash like a rainbow, and then we'll use one of their deep microfiber towels just to gently level the surface. And it should look pretty good. We'll see how it goes. And with a waterless, you want to be really conscious of your washing method. You always want to start at the top and work your way down. So you want to start from the cleanest section to what you think might be the dirtiest. On this car, the back will definitely be the dirty parts down low, if there are any at all. So I am going to start with the roof, work my way down to the hood, and then around to the back. You don't want to scrub, you just want to gently wipe the surface, turning the microfiber frequently. The waterless wash and the panel wipe are complete. Panel wipe, again, is just like an alcohol product. After I do that, I always like to take a flashlight, and I turn the lights off in the shop so that this is the only light I'm really seeing reflect off the car. And I like to very closely inspect the paint before I do the ceramic, because now's my chance to fix any little blemish, or if I see a spot, maybe a water spot or something that needs a quick polish, I can do that now. Anything I might have missed. So I'm going to go around the whole car with this light, and then we're ready for the ceramic. Now, I did find one or two very small little places. I don't know if it's from shipping or where it sat somewhere and got something on it, but I just was able to use some of that 3D1 and just by hand polish them out. If you have the graphene one, make sure you give it a shake, because the graphene, you'll sometimes see it settle and it's like a black color in the bottom of the container. And then all you need to do, put about 3 spritzes of the product on the applicator, and then just literally start wiping it. I'm going to do half the hood, and then I'll show you guys how it sort of flashes off, and you'll know when to remove it or buff it. So that should be pretty obvious on camera. You can see I stopped right here. And again, what's super nice about this stuff is you can literally use it on every part of the car. It gives you a pretty long working time, and it's easy to use and hard to mess up. I don't know if you can see, but there's like a rainbow effect that starts to form, and that's the solvents that are evaporating and leaving the ceramic behind. And when that rainbow is almost gone, that's when you want to start, I don't want to say buffing it, but you want to just wipe it and sort of smooth out the coating. But that's how it looks going on. And humidity and temperature matter in how long it takes for it to be ready to wipe. And it's pretty humid. It's raining here today, like I mentioned, so the humidity in the shop's like 64, 65%. And I've found it takes about 7 or 8 minutes, and then it's ready for wiping it off. I'll show you that here in just a sec. I went ahead and finished up the rest of the hood. I didn't want to leave that flat black with one side not done. So the whole hood is done. This side is pretty much ready to be wiped. You can see the rainbow has just about disappeared. And what I like to do is just go back and forth sort of in one direction, because again, you're not really buffing, you're more smoothing, I like to think of it. And it's pretty obvious where the product is, so you just want to make sure you wipe it completely to get the solvents off. Ooh, that made that satin hood look really nice. Nice and rich. That'll make it easier to take care of too. So there's the driver's side wiped down. Still got another couple of minutes on the passenger side, but you can sort of get an idea of how it starts to look, and it makes that satin hood look really, really deep. And it also, when I had the PPF installed, remember it's a little bit different sheen right there. Now the sheen of the satin hood with the ceramic on it really closely matches the sheen of the PPF bonus. And there's the whole hood finished. And I'm sort of focusing on the hood because it's got the most stuff to sort of show you. It's got paint, it's got matte black, it's got a plastic piece. As you can see, you can use that stuff on everything, and it looks really, really good. I even did the windshield wipers. I did this plastic cowling. You can pop the hood and get all of that so that everything is nice and protected. Now I just got to do the rest of the car. And when I'm putting this on, I like to go horizontal first, or I guess, doesn't matter what order, but I do horizontal and then vertical, just to make sure I completely cover the panel. So here it is finished, and you can see it's already super shiny. And the nice thing about ceramic products is they get that really slick, like hard candy shell feeling to them. This particular one, you need to leave it without being driven out in the rain or anything for about 12 hours, and it will actually harden up some more during that time. And I did go ahead and do some of the plastic areas under the hood, the energy block or fuse block, if you want to call it, right there. I did mention earlier I did the cowling, and it just gives it a nice deep satin sheen. And the great thing about ceramic products is they make it way easier to clean the car. So what'll happen is the water beads will just stand up on the surface of the ceramic, and now when I wash the car, I probably won't even have to dry it with a towel or anything. I usually like to use a blower because the less you're rubbing on the paint, the less likely you are to induce scratches. So I usually use a battery powered leaf blower, and now I can just wash the car, do my 2-bucket wash method, and when I'm drying it, I can just blow it with a leaf blower, and I'll show you this next time I wash it, and the beads of water will just sheen off the car lickety split, make it super easy to keep clean. So you're protecting the paint, you're making it easier to clean. And is this what I did, is it as good as a professional dropping it off and having a professional ceramic coat application done? No. You can get really good ceramic. They get a little expensive, but if you're willing to invest in that and you don't particularly like working on the car, working with the car, then it's probably a good way to go. Me personally, I've enjoyed being out here in the shop today. It's been rainy. I turned on some good music, and it gave me an opportunity to spend time with the car, not driving it, so I kind of had a good time. And I don't mind having to reapply this stuff every 12 to 18 months. It took me about 45 minutes to do the entire car, including all the little extra pieces I did, so it's super easy. So I'm gonna call it a night, but I am gonna come back in the morning and I will show you what it looks like after it's had time to cure and harden for that 12 hours, give or take. So we'll be right back. It's the next day, and I'm gonna show you how it turned out. So hopefully you can see that. I'll try to get down and get a good angle where you can actually see the reflection in the paint. That stuff does a really good job for how easy it is to use. And what I really like about these ceramic coatings is after they harden, man, the paint feels so slick. I wish you could reach through the screen and check that out. It's pretty amazing how well they work. So now I know the paint is protected, and it'll make the car much, much easier to clean up. And this came as a kit. I'll leave a link in the description, and this is not sponsored. I bought this stuff with my own money, and I've been really, really happy with it. Use it on the 4Runner first, and it's probably gonna be my go-to. And I've done the 4Runner twice, I believe, and now the Demon once, and that's how much product is still in there. So a little bit goes a long way, so it's super cost effective. I'll update and let you know how long it actually lasts. And there was something else I always wished I had done on the Hellcat, and that was treating the fender liners, especially the back ones where the rubber gets spun into them with the drag strip. I always clean the rubber out after every track day, but had I put something on those liners that made them slippery, like ceramic, the rubber would have come off much, much easier. So I'm going to take care of that next. And I could technically use the Adams graphene ceramic spray that I used on the rest of the car, and it would probably be okay, but I've got something that's a little more heavy duty that I'm going to try, and I think it probably will be a little bit better for the wheel wells, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to use for that. And this is something else I learned about when restoring the 4Runner. It had some, black plastic pieces on it, and they had turned gray over time, or they were gray and they'd really washed out to being almost, not white, but really, really light gray. And this stuff worked really good. It comes in little individual wrap packages. You get 10 of these in a box. I think the box is like 20 bucks. It's a little more heavy duty ceramic, and you do get gloves with it. And you can see where I used it before. The ceramic actually stays pretty crispy or crunchy on the fingers of the gloves. So I'll be using the gloves for that. Now I just got to get the tires and wheels off. I gave the fender liner the same treatment of a waterless wash and then wiped it with the isopropyl alcohol. That'll give the best surface for this stuff to stick to, which is what you want. And these are just little towels, which are pretty handy. And you don't buff this or anything. You just wipe it on and let it do its thing. Make sure to get it nice and even. You won't really see it because the tire will be in front of it, but I'll know it's there. One down, 3 to go. And as you can see, this product does have a higher sheen to it than the Adams. So while I did get some of it on the leading edge of the trim because it's going to be behind the tire, I did not put it on the outside. It would be too glossy for my preference. So I like the Adams on this portion of that black trim. So keep that in mind if you're doing this. Well, that's a wrap and another project checked off the list. I'm trying to think what I've done so far. So we did some pretty serious security with tracking, got that done. Clear protective film, I've now ceramic coated it, including the wheel well liners and wheel wells, so hopefully they'll be easier to clean after I leave the drag strip. I've got a couple of small things, got to tint the windows, a couple of little things for the engine bay. Those will be coming up soon. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. It's at Speedies_garage, as well as the website, www.speediesgarage.net. I'm going to get back to putting the rest of these braking miles on this vehicle, so we're ready to go to the track in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, I'll see you out there.